around him in the mid lane. They don't need him to do super well. He lost the laning phase yesterday against Forbidden in the Azir Victor matchup. Froggen, individually, I feel like he's had good games, especially on Echo. He's Vladimir yesterday once he got to the late game. But he's also like, he's the vocal point of this team here. And he was the guy saying on the analyst desk how, yes, I know we play passive, but it's the only way we're winning. So he thinks, or he feels like this is a good style for Elements, but it's also one of the reasons they've lost so many games, because they just fall so far behind and do nothing the first 20 minutes.
All right, we'll find out if they can find a higher gear this time around. Kalista, one of those champions that you've talked about high priority. I feel like, yes, these are fairly targeted bans. Promiscu undefeated on the Alistar. Mithy's had some great Alistar performances. You know, Kalista's a strong priority for actually both of these teams, really. What is left up? Jungler's untouched.
Do we need to say the AD carry?
Untouched.
Good old Sivir.
First pick worthy?
Against Elements? Yeah. I mean, what's going to happen now is if Elements decides to ban a tier 1 jungler, they might get Origen to first pick the other jungler there and therefore get the Sivir for them, which I think is super important for how passive they play the early games. So that's exactly what Elements are doing. They're telling Origen, if you don't take that Rek'Sai now, we're going to grab it for Dexter on our side, and then you can get your Sivir, but at least we get something. We traded. There are other strong picks open as well. I mean, Jace has been banned quite a lot. We've seen it a few times. I think it's a strong pick here on 5-11. I don't know if Elements want to play it, but they're going to get the Rek'Sai instead. So I like the last ban on the Gragas here.
And of course, Dexter's been the man that's really been carrying Elements. I think he's had some of the better performances across the board, across most of the games. And I still think Froggen played very well. Yesterday's Vladimir was very impressive in the late game. It took a long time to get there, but there was no pressure from Elements. They weren't under a rush from Roccat.
And they will be here. They will be here.
Origen a lot more aggressive.
A lot more, and also taking away the Sivir, you remove a key wave clear factor from Elements, and you get that ability to control the tempo of the game. You can now fast push, you can engage fights very easily with the Sivir ulti. So that's why I really like the pickup from Origen, even though it means they get a second tier jungler for Amazing. I still think it's very worth it with how Elements have been playing and how important I think that pick is for them.
Find out.
I like it. If you go Azir now and you get Azir, Sivir, and Nuno, you have a fantastic team composition for both the early game in terms of you have safe lanes, and your team fights are going to be very, very strong. Good scaling to the late game and a lot of ways you can play around it. Nuno also specializes in shutting down the enemy jungler, making him as useless as Nuno is himself. And that's one of the reasons we have seen it before into a Rek'Sai.
The thing is, yesterday, Pekka did play that Azir. It did not go well for him. That was against Febiven's Victor. We know Froggen also likes to play Victor, has tried that himself. Instead, Pekka's going to go to a champion that has worked for him, and he's locking in a fairly early Vladimir. This is a change. Traditionally, that's been in reply to what his opponents are putting on the board.
Yeah, I think maybe he was afraid of Froggen going Vladimir as a last pick into the Azir. It's a matchup we've seen a few times where the Vladimir, at least later on in the game, does really well. You can also pull under the ulti of Azir, but I still feel like that would have been a better pick, unless, of course, this Vladimir goes to the top lane. I mean, it is technically a flex pick. We've seen Youngbuck play Vlad top a few times, but let's see what Origen decides to do later on. Elements now cannot fall in the same trap we have seen time and time again, where they pick low wave clear, no pressure in the early game. They have the Rek'Sai, that's a great start. They have a top laner who can rush a Trinity Force, that's another good start for them. Let's see what AD carry we get for taps.
Well, Corki does appear to be locked in. There is some of that wave clear you were talking about. Another Trinity Force spike. And the Morgana. It is, of course, one of the highest win ratio champions at the moment. I think we said it was 11 wins, 2 losses, if memory serves correctly. And that's going to be landing in Promiscu's hands. Froggen giving himself the chance to pick whatever he wants into Origen, as Origen will be locking in most likely the mid lane and support.
Very standard for Elements. I believe they are the team in Europe who last picks the mid lane the most often, and that's what we have seen time and time again when you have Froggen on the team here. Corki, Forgiven, didn't go for it last game. He wanted the Lucian to be a bully against the Sivir in lane. Taps is probably going to have to sit back. He's not in the best lane matchup for himself, and I'm saying that even before seeing the potential support pick for Origen. But if they do lock in the likes of a Fizz, they can also decide to swap against the Hecarim if there's no smite from JWoww. and simply try and dodge around that one. And Annie is, of course, fantastic at roaming early on as well. So there's multiple options in how Origen wants to play this early game.
Yeah, we have seen that will, of course, be Soaz as Fizz up in the top lane. So we know their team composition has now been rounded out. Nunu's not necessarily going to have the greatest of targets to blood boil, but both Fizz and Sivir will be greatly appreciative of the movement speed and attack speed. What does Froggen pick into this very, very frustrating set of targets? Vlad and Fizz going to duck and dive, and Sivir's going to run around in circles.
So you have Corki AD carry that can open up potentially for Jace, and you have an absolutely fantastic mid-game spike. Sadly, then you have the Hecarim top lane, so you will be stacking a lot of physical damage. That's going to be a problem later on in the game. We know Source is going to stack armor. We know Amazing is going to do the same. But that would give Elements a chance to try and battle Origen early in the game and not have to wait for late game. Because at the moment, I mean, the Corki, of course, isn't scaling that well to the late game. Nunu as well. Fairly good in the late game himself in terms of buffing up other people. So, oh well, I mean, it's hard to call Nunu good in the late game, but like he's blood boil. Gets pretty
like
good.
You don't like Nunu. Slow it down.
So now that we've, hit week 4, we've seen these teams here play a lot of games. We start seeing some of the same strategies from Origen. Whenever they lanes up to top, at least a few games I remember where they've been doing it, they always start on the weak side with Amazing. He takes his own red buff first, even though his dual lane is on the top side, starting to push that one in. And nobody invades on him to stop him, so he gets that red buff. Then he moves up to the top side of the map. It means he's going to secure farm on the bottom side that denies that from Dexter and Jawa when they move down to double jungle themselves in this 4v0. And he then gets to the top side with a small XP advantage, which can end up being a big deal. But for now, it's not going to matter too much. He only got the one red buff, and Mythi obviously he stole the other one.
Well, it's important that you highlight that though, Deficia, because what we've learned from teams that become predictable.
Dexter, if you look at the minimap, killing the Rift Scuttler, he's on his way now. A little bit late, I would have seen this 20 seconds before.
Gonna die.
20 seconds before to catch that big wave, but let's see if they get him.
Oh, not yet! Ignite! He's down. Let's be honest though, that was so predictable.
They start pushing down towards the enemy team. They get a big wave, they get an XP advantage while you have to play safe. And then you just call up your jungler and you go straight in for the dive under this tower here against an under-level champion. Easy play from Elements. Amazing, trying to respond the best he can by getting something on the bottom side. We'll get that dragon here, but if this continues in the top lane, then the next dragon could very well go over to Elements.
We'll need to see whether or not Jawa's power on this Hecarim will be enough to count 4 Elements made plays across the map. Jawa was gifted the farm.
Look what they're doing now though, Trevor.
Little advantage. Oh, is this proactive? Dark Binding. Is this going to connect? Mythi's in trouble. Been exhausted for the slow. It's going to wear off. Oh, the Dark Binding misses, but Dexter's there to save the day. And Froggen grabbed himself a kill.
Promiscue was trying to land that binding, so if Mythi had just flashed straight ahead, it would connect onto him, but Mythi just keeps walking. Doesn't flash. Didn't even use it after once he knew he was dead. But this opens up the mid lane for Origen. Nils is in here as well.
So they're going to lose Mythi, but they should gain this tower. Dropping very, very low, and no one from Elements is in.
Taking control.
Yeah, and look at the side lanes. Soaz was up top with teleport available. Jaywalk still does not have it. Origen timed that. This is a fantastic move. They had Pekka shove out the bottom wave, which Tabs has gone to clear. And an uncontested dragon, a show of force in the river. Vision secured and dragon locked down.
Really goes back.
Strength as well as the bottom wave pushing.
Let's track the wave here. Tabs decided to build a big wave that can slowly push down towards Origen. They're already at the tower. Mythi's going in though.
Flash Timbers is going to hold Froggen in place. Emperor's Divide has not been used for the time being. It does, but Froggen is down. He has to fly the coop and return to base. Promiscue gets sucked dry as Expecus Vladimir gets another kill. 2 kills to Origen.
I really wish we could have waited just like 20 seconds because Elements needed that wave in the bot lane to be closer to the Origen tower, so someone had to go down and defend and clear that wave. Dexter getting stunned up should be able to tunnel away, but because this wave is slowly building up and Elements already went aggressive in the mid lane, it allowed Origen to have all 5 members there and just instantly engage onto them, win the fight, push it back out. Suddenly the window is closing for Elements. They missed a chance here because they went too early suddenly. Almost feels weird to say. We just talked about what they should do. Didn't wait for that wave. 5 vs 5 in the mid lane with an Annie flashing in.
Oh, Mithy again.
He's great engage. I mean, he's running Distortion, he's building Talisman. He can do this time and time again. Origen is here. They win the fight. The siege was just about to be set up. You needed 20, 30 seconds. And then you could start doing this.
Have Corki and Azir to try get those turrets down. It's going to be in range, but this is going to be the fight. There was a Tippers that come down. I don't think that connected to anybody. Dexter has been attacked with Chum the Waters, and he's flashed into safety. Hemoplague is going to split up elements as Promiscue will get taken out. We do see the pop from the Hemoplague, the Ice Blast from Amazing. Absolutely.
Froggen forced his Baron, and then he dashed away from that one, but as long as Origen can just pop that Silver ulti and fight out in the open, it's working really well for them. Let's see what happens near the Baron here. Taps, and JWoww going in.
That's a lot of damage from JWoww. He may get Niels. Niels is forced to flash to safety. He comes back in with the cheeky auto attack for the kill. Emperor's Divide will split the team fight, but Froggen will only get one before being taken down himself.
Chang, even though obviously Sword is not, oh sorry, Amazing at this point is not been stacked. I mean, it's tanky that he has to lock it, he's gonna get a lot of HP, so it's
They're gonna get the tower. No? No. Origen do have that northern position in the river. No teleport from Soe, so he's not in the side lane. JWoww does have teleport. It looks like Origen is saying, call our bluff. We'll be on Baron, you decide where you want to go. There's the teleport from JWoww. Origen have forced Element's hand. And JWoww's now joined. Is it going down?
It's open now. Elements, good job here spotting Dexter. He doesn't even want the minions. He's just tag down to push down for another tower. Origen going back to Baron instead. Elements probably going to go back to stop them after take down this tower.
You read the situation incorrectly. The bait was Baron, not the tower. This time around, it's down to 2,500 elements. Maybe too late to this one. Origen secure it. They do pop on the hunt. Mithy's looking for the stun. He finds it onto Promiscue before the Black Shield can come out. Let's see if it had been used already, and it's Soaz that picks up the kill credit. But look at the base! Super minions will be pouring through soon. It looks like Elements are going to trade a Baron for an inhibitor. Let's flash over there. It looks like Peck has thrown down the Hemoplague as Niels and Amazing are coming up from behind. Hemoplague pops, and Froggen gets popped in reply. Elements lose 3 in Baron, but gain supers in middle.
But look at the top lane here. They're going to lose even more. Mithy's going to get a kill as well.
He finds one onto Tabs. This is devastating for Elements. As JWoww throws down the onslaught of shadows. He's got a Bramble back and a Yeti on his back. Amazing is trying to be a nuisance and prevent JWoww getting into the base. Soaz has killed an inhibitor turret. Amazing smites for the heal. And he's still keeping JWoww busy. Yeti's greater than horses, or so we're learning. Consume again for the HP. JWoww finally wins the trade, but at what cost? Soaz is now trying to get the inhibitor. He should be able to secure it. Gonna Urchin strike.
I mean, top lane to push in, but also just give them that option. Here's the dive.
Well, there's the dive. Emperor's Device gonna split them up. Chum the Waters connects onto JWoww, but Peke and Niels forced to back away. Hemoplague has now been used. We see Froggen's barrier. His wall is down. Niels takes a couple up by JWoww, I think. So Dragon is now spawned. We do see Niels is gonna spot them out with that scrying lens, scrying orb. Home Guard, teleport, JWoww. Where can he go? He's channeling it. He's coming in from the Wraith camp. That's what Dexter was doing. Onslaught of Shadows is still on hold. JWoww doesn't need it. They've lost Promiscue, but Niels is down. Froggen's got himself a kill as well. 2 members of Origen are down and they're on the retreat. Peke trying to transfuse himself away. He survives. 2 for 1. Supers on Element's base. Means they need to back as well.
Really like that Dragon setup though. We were joking around with Dexter. He's going for that red buff, but he placed a few D-boards, allowed JWoww to get a good flank in against Origen. Get a Dragon. It's only the second one of the game for them though, so the Dragons won't really be the big deal for now.
Dexter will be going down. Origen get themselves another tower and 2 more kills on the retreat from Elements.
Yeah, saw a split pushing there. Only 4 members from Origen, and still they managed to get such a good team fight. Froggen, he pushed back Peke, who just instantly pulled, stayed alive. There's no damage really to be dealt on
number already. Let's see what they can take with this one. 2/3 of the timer has run through. Origen going to use this last couple of waves to try and take another inhibitor. Let's see if they can. Peke trying to zone. JWoww teleporting in from behind. On the hunt has come out. Can Elements find the target? Niels, he's got caught out. He's down. Elements have got the main damage dealer. They're focusing on Peke, but the retreating Origen will stay alive for the time being. They do get themselves a kill on Dexter. I think that was the Hemoplague pop that did it. 1 for 1. Origen got the inhibitor. Very important. Pressure still on Elements.
See an opening at least to start a fight. They had the ulti ready from J-Wow when Origen were pushing up. Obviously nothing...
Nobody's been able to get aspect of the Dragon in summer so far. I'm sure somebody from Stats will help confirm or deny that for me. But we do see this inhibitor will be falling down. Elements deciding not to engage. Soaz takes a little bit of poke, but now there's super minions in the top lane to deal with as well. Elements playing it safe. Pekka's going to get caught out. Emperor's Divide will get dodged away by that Sanguine pool. A little bit of awkwardness across the board as Elements trying to hold on. J-Wow is getting chunked as Niels is shredding his HP. Does not get one more magical critical hit.
Mid tower as well now.
Will secure the tower and potentially the third inhibitor. League of Legends by the numbers. Origen getting all the objectives.
He's already back in base. Is there any wards behind? There's one down here near the Wolf camp. Fairly far away though from the rest of Origen, but it might be the one he's in. Origen's come straight from the base. Trying to dive in.
Inhibitor, one more love tap is all that it will take. Pekka's on the front line. Look at the hit onto J-Wow. Niels with that Bloodthirster shield, still able to chunk down. Froggen going to be using that passive, but
first tower.
He calls up a tower as Elements lose a tower. Origen continue the siege. Look at the minions, they're pouring through top. Inhibitor is going to drop. Feels like just a matter of time now. Origen should be able to just throw down on the hunt to try focus the tower. Soaz eats a dark binding. There's on the hunt and the Tibbers. Pekka comes in. That's J-Wow going on the onslaught of Shadows. Tabs is deleted as Mythic gives his life for Origen to set their sights on the Nexus. Origen will be losing 3 members as Pekka and Froggen trading on the fountain. Froggen gets himself a triple kill, but look at all the super minions. Amazing's going to try to defend this. Can he kill it? There should be enough. Froggen goes in for the quadra kill.
Ah, the Nunu.
And
wow.
Origen.
Super minions.
Look at that face palm from Amazing. Froggen's got a fair amount of AoE, but it may not be enough. He's trying to defend. This is PvE, League of Legends. Bird is the word.
He needs the minions to respawn.
He's looking for minions, but it's going to stay alive a few seconds longer. This next
is what Froggen does best, by the way.
Never shoutcasted a player versus Winions. And the Winions are not with Origen yet.
Wait and see, more super minions are coming though, but Froggen got his own minion spawn just to buy some more time.
I have no experience shoutcasting, farming. This is, I agree with picture and picture.
And alive.
Elements live to fight. One you cannot take out of Fnatic members.
Froggen farming like a monster.
Pekka and Soaz have felt this pain many times before. 6 Barons in their previous games. This will be the 3rd in one game. Half of all Barons secured.
Giving a little bit more breathing room for Elements, but then a Baron buff, 5 Dragon, and Origen comes in and doesn't really count for too much.
There are so many particles.
Oh, wow.
So many particles on Niels. One Boomerang Blade, chunked down Froggen there. No armor to speak of outside of that Hourglass. He's sticking around though. He's going in for the Shurima Shuffle. He's split Origen, but Froggen's going to be low. J-Wow's coming, but the fight may already be over. He's jumped onto Niels. He's dashed back out of the fight. Promiscue, Tabs, Dexter, Froggen, they are all down. Origen are looking to win themselves another game with the first aspect of the Dragon with 3 Barons. And with every single tower